All right, so the neck is now glued in, and we're gonna get to some sanding in preparation for some cherry red stain. So basically I'm just gonna get rid of just the top layer of basically charcoal, because that's gonna come off anyways. And this should bring out the grain a little bit more. And I'm just using 320. It actually comes off very easy. Where's my brush? There it is. Just trying to get the color pretty even before applying any stain on this. All right, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up and mask the fretboard because I don't want that to get stained, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now for the fun part. Not to say that other parts of this haven't been fun, but now for applying finish, which is always fun. So I'm gonna be using some Crimson Guitars Stunning Stains Cherry Red on this, and I have a feeling it will look really freaking cool. Now, when using stain, always apply from the inside toward the edges. That way, you avoid any type of spill over the edge. It is going on in a very interesting way because of the surface being what it is. So let's see how this holds up. Might actually want to do this with the grain, if that works a little bit better. Now, technically, the Sushogiban method, which is the burning of the body, basically the Japanese technique to make things a little bit more water resistant in a way, and this is water-based stain, but it is going on very well. Giving me that really nice deep red that I'm after. And if the grain raises a bit, I might be inclined to put on another layer after this. So we'll see how this one goes and how it is once it dries up. And seeing as it's already a bit later in the evening, I'm gonna actually let this dry overnight because I don't want to be working all night either. It is quite literally drinking this stuff up. So at least the stain is taking. The back plate is what I'm worried about, seeing as it is so thin that applying moisture onto it might make it warp. So we'll see how that goes once I apply stain to it. It might be fine. We'll find out. And the neck. Okay, that is pretty cool, gotta admit. Now, very light layers on this. So I'm not really applying it all too wet here, because I don't want any excess moisture to go and warp this out of shape. Do a little bit on the back as well. Really don't need to, because I'm gonna have shielding on the back there, but just gonna go in with a little brush, get some bits that I've missed, but that is pretty much that. And basically I'm just using the brush as well to kind of go in here. Get all these parts, just so that the edges of the cavity match the rest. That about does it for today. Let's come back tomorrow and see how it looks. I'm pumped. All right, now I have all the frets nicely polished up. So it's time to polish up that fretboard. Very handy to have a strip of tape going along the side of the fretboard, so when you pull that, all the rest of it just comes off very easy. I just used the Crimson Guitars fret polishing rubbers all the way to the superfine. And now I'm gonna polish up the fretboard, and after I've done that, I might go back with the superfine just to give that final polish on there. Also to kind of remove any of the polishing compound in the process. All the frets are looking pretty good. Alrighty. So I'm just going to use auto glim. So this is car polish, and as it polishes, it should as well ensure a nice hard coat on the fretboard, which, you know, considering it's fretboard, it's a pretty good thing to have. Now I see one of the things that always bugs me is I see so many people, or so many luthiers on YouTube, who use microfiber cloths to polish up guitars. Well, from my personal experience, I've only noticed that microfiber cloths and the fibers within the cloths themselves actually scratch the surface and the finish of the guitar, and I can't ever unsee those type of scratches from people's work that have used microfiber cloths. So instead, I opt for really soft cotton, and that gets the job done very nicely. A little bit of elbow grease. The side of the fretboard as well. It's smearing all over the place now that I got a little bit on the table there. Need to clean that up. And this is actually getting the frets polished up as well, so I don't need to worry about that after the fact. Now I'm only going to be polishing up the fretboard and not the rest of the guitar, because quite honestly I actually like what the guitar looks like in its current state. Rough pass, and then the polish, or the buffing pass. Now I'm looking up against the light to see if there are any spots that I've missed, giving them a nice little once over. So always check up against a light to really see what's going on. Of course, natural light will be great, but seeing as it's winter and it's Finland, it is dark as balls. And once you start hearing the squeaking sound, you know you've got a nice polish. That sound. Of course, if you have access to a buffing wheel, that just makes your life so much easier. I don't, so I'm doing it by hand. But I also like doing this by hand Call me crazy, but it's therapeutic in a way. That is a very nice and shiny